Okay, don't do this. Don't drive and present on a YouTube channel at the same time. Brad the Guitologist here with my friend Joe.
Peace.
You guys might remember me talking about Joe before. He's never been on the channel, but he did bring to my attention a TV that I'm still using in my main parlor area. So thanks to Joe for all of that entertainment and brainwashing that's happened since. But man, that sun's bright. I should have gotten some glasses like you.
Yikes.
That would have made sense. We've already found a Cobalt electric weed eater within the first couple minutes. I didn't even shoot an intro for it, and we didn't even really have time to film it because it happened so quickly. But now we're headed through some more neighborhoods. He's coming along with me doing some garbage picking here.
Brad has not only fixed my guitars and my amps, he's also trained me how to spot junk from a mile away.
Yeah, I think Joe spotted that before I even did, so it's working out so far. This last week, when I was on this particular route right here looking around, I found an edger. It's one of the few lawn equipment pieces I don't have, so now I can edge. But we'll see what else we get. I'll come back if we find anything else. We got a Zeppelin up in the sky, which is, I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Hang on, let's flip it around. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so see that bubble right there up in the sky? That's a Zeppelin, or a dirigible, whichever you prefer.
Probably not lead, right?
Yeah. it's up there, so probably not lead. We'll see what we find here. This is what I typically do kind of in the evening, the night before on a garbage route. I'll kind of just drive and see what I see. You know, once again, I'm not out here looking to go through anybody's there's a stove. No, I don't. I need a stove. Probably like I need a hole in the head though. It would probably come back to life. But was that gas?
No, it was electric.
Was it electric?
Yeah.
I could probably have brought that back to life if it was even dead. A lot of times people just upgrade stuff like that. Oh, that's a baby seat. It's a baby seat. I don't need that. Like I said, I don't really like particularly going into the bins, but I'll get stuff off the curb all day. Well, they're gonna throw away a bunch of stuff later. See, this might even still be a little bit early. It's 8 o'clock on the evening before the pickup, so you know, a lot of these houses don't have their stuff out yet. So, you know, in about another hour and a half, they would probably, a lot of them bring stuff out. And I have found the later you come out, the more stuff you tend to find. I think because people are kind of ashamed or something maybe to put out some of the stuff they put out. I've found more stuff late at night that people have put out, the good stuff, than, you know, when it's still daylight. Plus, I think when people put the stuff out in daylight, somebody has already driven past, and if it's good, somebody's already probably driven past and said, hey, I think I'll have that. So there could be a little bit of that too. Maybe
vacuum cleaner.
What?
Vacuum cleaner.
They had a vacuum cleaner? Yeah, it wasn't out there yet though, was it?
It's out of the house.
Outside the house, but not yet put to the curb.
It was in the garbage can.
Here we've got the police. We'll let them pass.
He's waving.
Oh, he's waving. Got a bunch of doors and whatnot there. I have become familiar with the Middletown police, unfortunately. I was trespassed from the local Baptist hospital. What is it? The urgent care facility. Because I walked in, I was wanting treatment for had a lung thing going on, and it had just been weeks and weeks, and I needed some antibiotics. And I went on the website first because I figured they would probably try to put me in a mask, and I wasn't going to do that. I went on the website and answered a questionnaire, and it told me to go into the location. So I was like, ah, shit. So I went in the location, and they sure enough, they asked me to wear a mask. I was like, look, I'm not putting on the mask. Can you just, send me to a room or something there? So we'll have to ask you to leave. So they called the cops on me. because I was like, y'all are stupid. I told them basically what I thought of them.
What did the cops tell you?
I was already outside by that point. There wasn't much they could, you know. They were called for no good reason, really. They were like, we need to see your ID. And I was like, well, I don't have it on me. They were like, well, what's your name? I was like, I don't have to answer your questions. I was like, I will not answer your questions. In fact, I'm not even talking to you.
Wow.
I was like, so.
I plead the fifth.
Yeah. Which is well within my right to do. What, a bunch of pull stuff? The hose?
Exactly, yeah.
Ooh, that hose,
Good
I probably.
call. Good call.
The hose I might be able to use on a project, but yeah, it's hose that's be
Look
dirty
pretty
and
cruddy.
just exactly. I have two shop vacs that I pulled out of the garbage that both work. The motors work, everything works, except they're both missing hoses and wheels. It's just, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to make a living doing this. It's just, it's fun.
But you know, a lot of people appreciate this. I know when I set stuff out, I hope people do come and get it personally.
I hate seeing stuff go to the dump,
right,
dude.
exactly.
That it could be used by somebody.
Because I'm not smart enough to fix it, you are. So I find it, you know, I think it's a great service.
Well, here's a good case in point for the throwaway society that we currently live in. You know, that child's car seat that was back there. You know, some child in a poor neighborhood could probably have their lives saved by that car seat. And where is it? It's in the garbage. And the thing about those car seats is they make it illegal in many states, maybe even across the country, to even resell those if they've had a recall of any kind. But the thing is, the manufacturers always make recalls, and they do that on purpose. They make recalls on all that baby stuff so often that people just throw away baby stuff, so you end up having to buy new. But that's like they're promoting the throwaway society, and in my opinion, they're harming more kids than they help with that shit, because poor communities are the ones who suffer when they can't buy the stuff secondhand. Am I right or am I right?
So it protects the garbage in the landfills where it ends up.
Yeah, it protects the garbage man monopoly, I guess.
Right.
But it's really stupid. But that's just another case of like regulations gone amok, doing more harm than good, in my opinion, because they do that on, you know, if it was for the reason they state, which is supposed to, you know, it's supposed to keep babies safe by keeping harmful products, you know, out of the consumer market or whatever. If that was the actual effect, that would be one thing, but that's not the effect. The effect is the opposite.
So I've always wondered, when these services pick up this trash, I wonder if anybody at these locations, do they sort through that? I wonder if they pull anything out that could be repurposed, fixed.
What's that?
Ooh, tables and chairs. Look at that, man.
Are they nice? They are, kind of.
Yeah.
They actually are kind of nice.
Very nice.
I think the trash, and if I needed some chairs, I'd probably pick those up, and it wouldn't bother me. But yeah, I think they make you wrap, if you're going to leave something, they make you wrap it in plastic.
I recently got rid of some box springs and some mattresses like in the last 6 weeks. And part of the requirement is you got to drag them to the curb and you have to wrap them in plastic and tape them. They have to be secured. That's just for hygiene purposes. Well, so it looks like that's what they did to those chairs.
What it is when the garbage guys have to get out and come into personal contact with it, like if it has bed bugs or some other, you know, lice or whatever else that might be in the fabrics of the stuff. If it has fabric, I think you have to do that.
Been on the tour bus for too long.
Yeah, whatever the case may be. But if it's got bugs of any kind, you know, if the garbage people are coming into close personal contact, exactly. You don't want those people taking that stuff home, or, you know, having to work in fear of that every day. Okay, I'm gonna turn around and go back the other direction.
Those chairs look awful nice. I mean, almost too nice to be in the trash.
You want them?
I do not have a use for them.
Yeah, I don't either. But that's the thing too. Like if you had
storage,
if you had a thrift store, God,
Correct.
you know,
Right.
I mean,
right.
I would be out every day if I had a thrift store doing this, because it's people. This is the alternative to the thrift store. They don't want to drive to the thrift store, so they throw it to the curb.
Right.
And they looked like they were in decent shape.
Oh, and that's the thing. I mean, we're what, a mile and a half from the Goodwill?
Yeah.
So do these people not have a way to transport it? Do they not want to transport it? Are they too lazy, to your point, to transport it?
Well, I mean, look at all these cars. Surely they've got
Right. Somebody's got to have some way
Yeah.
to get them down there. And there are services that will come pick stuff up here in Louisville. But, you know, again, I've always wondered, you know, when these trash services do their thing, do they have someone at the location that sorts through it so stuff doesn't end up in the landfill?
No,
right?
Because the trash trucks in our neighborhood that pick all this stuff up,
They just dump it.
they dump it in the same bin and it gets crushed.
Right.
As the route, as they go through the route periodically, they crush it all down.
What a shame.
Everything here will get crushed.
There's a nice cool.
That right there will get crushed.
That's a
Whatever that
dresser.
is, little white dresser.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a little kid's dresser for
Sure.
somebody.
Probably $2 worth of sandpaper and a shake rattle can of paint and bring that back.
I mean, the paint even looked pretty good on that.
Right.
I wouldn't have, probably wouldn't have even bothered with it.
Clean it up and reset it.
See, there was a can back there that was kind of partially open. It looked like it probably had some stuff in it that was decent, but it's one of those things. It's like on principle. I'm not gonna start stopping and going through people's stuff. You know what I mean? It's not just a principle either. It's hygienic and everything else too. Unless it's worth the effort. Like to get that weed eater right there, that's in the back.
The lady planting her flowers was looking at, she was checking us out.
She was.
Rightfully so.
Oh, well, she kind of went back to her thing though.
Yeah.
What's that poking out down there? You see what I see?
I saw that.
I see a couple lids open.
Looks like a piece of glass there in that first one.
It looks like a screen. I think it's a screen.
Yep, there you go.
Broken. That's a common throwaway item.
Nope, that's glass.
That's glass?
And some kind of...
Yeah, it's like a little divider for a kids...
Room divider.
Room divider thing for kids or pets. Those break all the time. I know from experience. I've had to fix a bunch of them.
Right. I'm fixated on that vacuum cleaner. I'm almost urged to...
What's this?
Uh-oh. I see items. I see potential... pool stuff again. See, that's the ladder.
Oh,
squeegee, brush.
Right. You were fixated on what?
I'm fixated on that vacuum cleaner. I wish it was not on the side of the house.
Yeah. Oh, puppy dog.
Yeah.
You don't see many puppies out loose running around anymore. I think it's illegal.
Right.
I'm guessing it is. What's this right here? Oh, is that that looked like a coffee grinder or something back
I didn't
there?
see that. I was looking here to the right.
I think it was part of their...
There's that's probably plastic.
It is, but I don't want that.
That's $5 at Lowe's.
Yep. Even so, I don't want it anyway.
So Brad, when you're out doing these things, obviously with your videos, you focus on electronic or mechanical type things. That's your MO. You sort of look for TV, stereos, carpet cleaners, weed eaters.
I go with stuff that I have seen fixed before or I have experienced fixing before.
Right.
Like if it's something I might like if I found a space heater or something like that, I would probably grab it just because I know how those work, like an old box fan. Like I know the common failures of those. Stuff like that, it's like a no-brainer. Like if it's in good shape otherwise, and it's just at the curb, I'm likely to grab it if it's something I have experience with.
Well, plus there's things that you can easily turn if you need to sell them, right? And if this makes the video, guys, I bought one of his carpet cleaners that he did a month ago. Those kind of items you can easily turn around and sell, right? Fix them up, sell them.
And that's the other thing too. It's like it has to be kind of worth the effort.
Right.
Like,
Return on investment.
Yeah. And the investment usually is time, you know, maybe a couple parts.
A couple of curse words.
Yeah, a few curse words. A few, why in the hell did I get this?
You're right. What did I get myself into this time? Now, do you find seasonally stuff is different? So is this the best time to pick things up, or does that matter?
When the weather's warm, it seems like, yeah, because people are cleaning out garages and stuff.
Right.
You know, they're outside. Especially like with this past weekend, how nice the weather was. It wasn't too hot, and it wasn't at all cold. The humidity was way down. It was lovely. And I think the people who weren't out celebrating Father's Day, doing some kind of recreational activities, they were probably cleaning out garages and stuff like that. I mean, that's what I was doing.
Right.
Right over here. Look at that.
There you go. Ooh, a grill. Hey.
It's covered too. That means if it was probably covered outside. Hey, film me. I'm gonna look at it.
Gotcha. Wow. Gas grill. I see need some wheels.
It's gonna be way heavier than and bigger than I can get, I think. The problem with grills is usually when they're tossed, it's because they're rusted through.
Right, the burner.
The gas ones particularly. Yeah, the burners are all rusted out.
Was that the case in that one?
Hard to tell, but I'm not going to take a chance on something like that. It's just too heavy to, you know, mess with, unless I was certain it was minty, you know.
You know, Brad, if you keep this up, which it looks like it's being a fairly good endeavor for you, maybe invest in an old junky pickup truck, right?
Yeah. Oh, I have one already. I already own one.
Oh, you do?
My papa's F-150. He had like a 79 or 80 Ford F-150. And that's going to be its own project too. It's mine. My dad's got it now though. It's sitting out at the farm, gathering rust. I need to get it and start working on it a little at a time.
Well, that would be perfect. That's an easy way to, you know, grab and go quickly.
Oh yeah, because you can just toss them in the back, sure. Hold more stuff too. You don't have to worry about the ceiling.
Well, yeah, that's my point. Yeah, you got more room and it's quicker.
Yeah. I mean, that's the only way you could have gotten that grill, for instance.
Right.
But stuff like that usually ends up getting picked up by scrappers. You know, somebody who's going to scrap it for the metal, if anybody. But I imagine that one, where it's sitting now, is going to end up in the dump. They must have a way at the dump to separate that stuff. I'm sure they do there.
Well, I'd have to think that somebody'd have to sort it somewhere.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Right. What's this?
The sun got my eyes. I can't see.
What is that?
A fan. Ooh, that's on a stand.
Is that?
It's a fan on a stand.
I'm going to grab it.
Heck yeah, man.
That's a nice metal one.
Wow, look at that. That's a nice snag there. If I can get it.
God, it's like wrought iron. It's like wrought iron. Ow.
Wow, that looks old school, man.
It is old school. That thing was heavy.
You know, there's YouTube channels dedicated to stuff like that.
I know.
Those old fans like that. Some of those things are like really expensive.
Oh, I just pulled my neck. I did. I totally just pulled the muscle in my neck. I don't know how I did it in my neck. That was dumb.
Well, you didn't realize it weighed 75 pounds.
Well, I didn't. And when I bent down to put it in, that's when I did it. Pulled a muscle in my neck.
You know, that may be one of the best pulls in a while right there.
But we were just talking about fans, were we not?
Yes, 10 minutes ago.
Last night I got 2 big bundles of like tongue and groove wood from that house. Oh,
really?
Shit. Yeah. Yep. I overshot where I intended to go there. Hang on.
You know, that house is probably over 100 years old. If that's the original hardwood they pulled out of there.
It is. I don't know if that tongue and groove came out of that house or what the story is with it. It was all bundled up. Got a bunch of tongue and groove wood.
Well, I think the family that bought that, the family they bought it from, if I remember the story right, the old woman who lived there had lived there her entire life. When she like 90 years old or something, and she grew up in that house. Was that the story? And she finally died. Because Middletown did a piece on it or something here.
Yeah,
you know, these are the teasers right here, like when you get boxes.
Yeah. And it's kind of partially open sometimes.
Right.
Like, and again, you know, I don't like going inside of them really, because it's just like, you know, first of all, it gets nasty that way.
I was gonna say, you know what? I can recommend maybe a pair of gloves for you, Brad.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there was a bunch of 2x4s in that one. That's the other thing. 2x4s are so expensive. Just regular run-of-the-mill.
True.
Framing 2x4s have got. I mean, it's basically like picking up. If you can find a 2x4 on the side of the road, it's like picking up a $5 bill.
Right. Plus, you got the place to store those.
Yeah. Yeah. Grab them and stick them.
Stack them.
I mean, how many times do you have a project or something you're doing where you needed a 2x4?
Well, over the winter, I needed one. I didn't have one 2x4 in my fucking garage.
Yeah.
So I had to go to Lowe's in the middle of a cold night and spend, you know, like $6 for one 4-foot 2x4.
Well, they're like $6 or $7. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And it's gotten stupid expensive.
That I had to cut to fit what I needed.
And then you've got the gas to get back and forth now.
And your
on
time,
top of that.
Right.
Okay, so here's what we got. This thing.
Holmes.
What is it?
Holmes.
It's a Holmes, okay. And I don't know what's up. Oh, that's where they, I don't know what is even in there. It looks like an oscillating fan. I'm tempted to just plug it in and see what it does.
Plug it in, see if it's got any juice.
But did you see what I mean though? How heavy it is?
Yes.
It is heavy.
It's a ton. That is.
I mean, this is wrought iron. That's wrought iron.
That is not a cheaply built fan.
No, it's not. That's straight up wrought iron. And then this thing, this is a Cobalt brand. What is it? 80 volt max. And it's got the little computerized crap on it. Speed control. I don't know. It's not computerized, but it's, you know what I mean. Takes one of these big ass batteries, 80 volt. There's the model number.
Which means when it ran, it was very strong. I mean, that is a lot of power.
Yeah, a lot of power for an electric. So that's cool. Not too bad for like half hour poodling around. This I found last night up the street. Dude was giving that away, and there's my tongue and groove.
This looks like just basically a cleanup job. What's wrong with that bike? Are the tires
Nothing.
flat?
I found another one too. Let me open the garage. I'll show you my other one I got. The problem, it was perfect when hang on, let me show you. This one was perfect. And I rode it up the street. And I broke it. Riding it up the street. When
broke what?
Well, I broke the gear shifter.
Oh, okay.
It had a Shimano 7-speed gear shifter, but wherever they had stored this, when they pulled it out, some ivy or weeds had grown up around the tire, and it got into here.
I see.
And it was on here. So whenever I rode it up the street last night, testing it out, I went to switch gears, and it got on one of those little vine pieces and shoved it off the track, and then it snapped that piece. So I had to pound that. I spent half the night last night pounding that gear shifter out and reattaching it and doing all kinds of crap.
That's a nice looking bike.
It's a good bike. I mean, it was going
tires look brand new.
It was on the curb.
Unbelievable.
I put air in the tires last night. They were fine. Like I said, I rode up the street until that vine got in the way.
So they were probably having trouble with the gear shift.
They weren't having any trouble because it hadn't been ridden. It had
I mean, why would you throw that away?
I mean, look at it. I'm telling you, it's perfect.
I don't know much about bicycles.
What is this? Kent. It's a Kent.
Guitars?
Century of... Yeah, exactly. Or either, I'm not sure what brand it is. Vitesse or Kent or Glendale. I don't. That might be the model. But so that'll go with my other.
Great colors.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of matches that one, doesn't it?
Kind of does, yeah, a little bit.
That's awesome.
But
unbelievable.
So there's that. Like I say, I'm not trying to save everything, but you know, it's fun.
You fixed this too, didn't you?
Okay, so what do we think here? What do we think's going to happen? Place your bets. Runs or doesn't run. Make sure I'm not electrocuted. Look at that. Holy shit. Does it oscillate? Apparently it doesn't. Something broken. Okay, something broken right there. So that's why. Yeah, it's very kind of shaky and like loose. Shaky and loose, but other than that, it works. Okay, got some cord issues there. We can solve that. Sweet. And then also I just noticed something about this. This is a attachment capable, so that means you can loosen this and take this head off and put on other things like you know, probably an edger or whatever. It probably has a saw, I would imagine, probably a chainsaw attachment for doing like tree limbs and whatnot. Cool. I wonder how much I bet a battery is prohibitive though.